you had mentioned a bit ago, Don, that, you know, you had like fallen out of wrestling. AEW kind of like reinvigorated it. I'm somewhat in the same boat. I always kept my finger on the pulse of like what WWE was doing. And I was always like watching kind of New Japan and Ring of Honor stuff online. So when AEW came to fruition, me too. I was like, it reignited something in me where I was just like, oh my God, this is going to be awesome. Because to me, I was like, oh, I'm a kid and I love wrestling and I listen to Jim Cornette. And if I had $1 billion, I would make a wrestling company that would go against WWE too. But my approach would be I'd sit the back and I'd let people who know what they're doing do it. Tony's approach is like, I'm just going to jump into the whole thing and I'm the CEO, the GM, I'm the guy who washes the boots and I shine the titles and it's great. So,
Tony, you know, Tony, can you say one thing for me, Tony?
Sure.
Say, I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
And that's the difference. You and I would have enough common sense to know I'm the money mark. I'm going to pay somebody else to run this.
Right.
If I've got an idea, I'll try to float it, but I'm not going to force anything to anybody's throat. And what really got me, you know, I was watching AEW the first time and I noticed one of those guys had no legs in the ring. And I was like, am I seeing this shit right? This bitch doesn't have any legs? What the hell am I watching? I got to see this.
Stumpy Martinez. That was Stumpy Martinez, pal.
Oh, I'm not even kidding. I saw that dude without legs and I was like, I got to see what the hell this is. This has got to be a parody of wrestling. This can't be a real company. Fast forward 5 years later, they're still around. Guys like Dildo Baggins is gone, but they're still around.
Marco Stunt, the great Marco Stunt.
Yeah, dude. I mean, yeah, they fell off hard too, you know, they fell off with a vengeance. And so, you know, some people are saying WWE's falling off, or some people are saying like, I know you guys are laughing, right? But a lot of the sentiment of the IWC sickos and some of the wackos too. Like I've seen full blown Cody Rhodes stan accounts and like Roman Reigns stan accounts being like, we're watching AEW after this WrestleMania, man. And, you know, these edgelords and sickos are just losing their minds. And with these releases as well that just happened, and some people are saying like post Mania and the build to Mania and Mania. Some people encompass it, but even post Mania, like WWE's been lackluster. What are both of your thoughts? You guys can just shoot whenever you want to, but like, what are your guys' thoughts on sort of that sentiment that people are trying to? I feel like that's just online Twitter noise, and that doesn't really, or that's like Reddit, you know, it doesn't really reflect like how people view WWE at all right now. But what do you guys think about just all of the noise of like, you know, WrestleMania was the build to Backlash, ain't these releases ruined WWE, TKO sucks, blah blah blah.
I'll be honest. I like night 1 and 2 of WrestleMania. The ending of the Cody Rhodes match, I think everybody that's a wrestling fan would admit that was less than cool. It seemed like there was a huge power struggle within the dynamics that was WWE. Dwayne Dewey showed up and just threw everything into chaos and then disappeared into the night and didn't show back up. I felt like it was a real power struggle between him and Hunter and Triple H. That's what it felt like going into this. And then the pivot from WrestleMania, it felt like Triple H was sending a big feud to The Rock saying, this is my show. I'm changing the entire dynamic of everything you just screwed up, and I'm hitting the reset button, because the Raw after Mania felt like a completely different show. It felt like they were pivoting to all new storylines, and I sort of feel like the build up to Mania was supposed to have something like that in its mind. And after The Rock was completely gone, they said, we're doing it anyway. Don't get this guy's input. Dewey, stay the hell on the sideline. Meanwhile, Dewey's shooting, you know, bullshit from his house in Hawaii, waiting to shoot the movie, talking about, oh, you know, we did this, we did that. Shut up. I didn't buy any of that. It really felt like a power struggle. I don't care what anybody says. You can't tell me that this wasn't a broken chain somewhere in this WrestleMania buildup. Again, I enjoyed night 1 and 2. I hated the finish of the Cody Rhodes match. I think the best thing that could happen right now is you have Cody go away, you run with this John Cena thing as far as you can, and you sort of build back up that story. That's just my take. That's just me personally.
I think the ending of WrestleMania Night 2 felt flatter than a pancake, man. It was flatter than Charlotte Flair's ass. It was horrendous. Didn't care for it at all, but it is what it is. We got what we got because the plans were already laid, and hopefully that the creative team can improve upon the direction that this Cena as champ angle goes. And they can determine the fate of Cody Rhodes, whether he gets the belt back, whether he doesn't, whether he turns heel. I know The Rock wanted him to turn heel. He didn't want to do it. That was a big bone to pick with The Rock on Cody's end of it last year for WrestleMania. There were some things about night one I didn't like. Some things about it I did like. But we covered that hard shit. But I differed in that. Don thought both nights were great. No,
I did.
Yes. And I didn't care for night one at all. But the main event of night one saved it. I did enjoy that. I think that these idiots who are saying all this stuff about the WWE online, it's a sweet spot of 12 to 20-year-olds who've never had a real job, that live with their parents. They're down in their basement. They've never touched a woman before. They're pounding Mountain Dew and eating Cheetos, punching their puppets and playing Xbox furiously, punching their puppets over pictures of Dakota Kai and Cora Jade. That's what they're doing. And they can't understand why these people were released. They don't understand how a business works because you have to allot a certain amount of money for advertising.
That's an entirely different subject, though. My God.
No. I was going to say, I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to say, well, I want your guys' sentiments on that too. So a lot of people are boo-booing over the release. Hey, come on. That's not very fair to call her Cora Jade, Eric. That's not very fair. No, but listen. Cora Jade and Gigi, they pipe back at Meltzer and that, Riley Osborne, you brought up before we went on air, right? He clapped back at Brian Alvarez there. So again, and I want you to continue with this, Johnny, the sentiment is like TKO's ruining WWE. What the fuck with these releases, man?
Right.
And that sentiment is well carried off of, like you said, WrestleMania night 2 ended. I think everybody can agree flatter than Charlotte's ass. I was going to say flatter than AJ Styles' Earth, but either way,
either way, they're both the same.
And so
I would argue on that. I would argue that Charlotte Flair's ass is definitely flatter.
Good. Look. She's got the Hank Hill ass.
Yeah. So, post that, the Raw was like a fuck you, but then we get the spring cleaning that happens every year. And I made the argument, look, man, they really fucked up their women's tag team division here. So they either need to abolish those titles, or if they keep those titles, then that's fucking dumb. These releases, a lot of them were fucking stupid. That being said, though, some of these people may have like backstage drama and may have still been talking to dirt sheets, and some of those things may factor into it. I'm not saying all the names, but even look at how Cora or Elena Black has been going off alleging that she was body shamed by her bosses. So who's that? Fucking Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Matt Bloom? No. Like there's a group of people we can name when you say my bosses fat shamed me or whatever, body shamed me or whatever.
Just to follow up on your point there, isn't she now starting an OnlyFans?
Yeah, she's starting. She just dropped
so don't tell me on one hand that you're mentally scarred because somebody called you a fat cow at the same time you're saying, hey, here's $15, look at my ass. I don't want to hear that nonsense.
hey, Don, you know what they say, brother.
Sometimes in life you got to be a hoe.
So, exactly.
Jesus Christ. Yes, you do have to be a hoe.
But
that's literally talking out of your ass.
The thing with
Post-Mania, the releases, people are acting, WWE's cooked, the perception's bad, it's all done. What do you make of that with the releases in mind? Do you think that holds any weight, or is that just mostly online noise?
It's online noise. They have no idea how to run a business. These kids who are saying all these things about it, they have no idea that a certain amount of money is going to be budgeted for advertising and marketing. A certain amount of money is going to be budgeted for the office personnel, the agents, the writers. A certain amount of money is going to be budgeted for talent. And if some big names come up, like Mariah May, Britt Baker, should I say Tessa Blanchard, Jeff Cobb?
She's never coming.
She's coming. Trust me, she's coming.
I don't think so. I don't.
I heard a rumor she's coming.
Well, can I give you guys an allegedly on the whole Tessa Blanchard thing?
If she is it going to be on OnlyFans?
Allegedly.
No.
Only if you're requesting poop videos, from what I've heard. But
that's what I've heard.
Blackheart.
Here's the thing, though, with Tessa is that I guess this whole TNA run is like they're eyeing her up, and if she can get through, like, stay out of trouble backstage. And they teamed her up with Foxy, Alicia Fox, Vix Crow, fan of PWT, actually. That's a shoot. And they're teamed up together in TNA, but if she can get through the, like, you're a racist chance and like she doesn't get in any trouble backstage, then WWE is interested in her. I would love to see her on the main roster. I guess we're talking in ring, but where does she go? NXT? I just don't know if the WWE fans will accept her. You know what I mean?
You brought something about the IWC fan. The IWC is such a small fan base. Most professional wrestling fans are WWE fans. Let's just clarify that right now. Yeah. Of all the millions of people that actually watch professional wrestling, most of them are watching WWE, and I would probably wager a bet that less than 20% of them actually get involved in the IWC as deep as, the IWC likes to go. They just see it as a base level and they move on with their life. As far as the releases go, they don't know who the hell these people are. They don't give a shit. They see a name and they move on about their day. There's no name that got released that makes you go, oh my God, how could they do this? There's an old expression in the business: move merch or move on. When all these people that got released, nobody was like, oh God, that's horrible. They're never going to recover from this. Braun Strowman was moving, I don't even know how to describe it, like an 80-year-old man. He's had so many surgeries. His time has come. It's over. He was moving like a mummy.
He tore his groin, and knees are done. There's a rumor he's going to retire.
Yeah, and he was on that big Vince money too. And here's the thing: I blame the fans a little bit, because it's like, man, your fandom isn't as loud as your outrage. So when it mattered, and you should have been standing Riley Osborne or Oro Mensah this hard, you weren't, and they get released, and now this outrage, it's faux. I will say this: I think they fumbled like a Dakota Kai storyline there with Io Sky and Damage Control, and I think that there is something to be said. She just challenged for the IC title. I'm a story guy. I'm big on like, okay, well, let's break down creatively. When people go like, this wrestling's better. Well, why? Is it just the moves? Like, let's really break down what makes this better, or what's better wrestling to consume. That argument aside, with the storyline wise, I do think it's fucked up to let Dakota go, who just challenged for the IC title. That's the one where I'm like, you really couldn't have had like Damage Control split up, fight each other in tag matches even. Like, we need established women's tag teams, or also abolish those belts. Like, that's the thing with me, right?
Glad.
I'm cool. I'm cool if they fire all the women's tag teams, but get rid of the fucking belts then. Like, don't have them if they're just there so that the IC champ can win a tag belt, or like can get a shot at the tag belts. The women's tags can win the tag belts, then they both get in the elimination chamber and shit. Like, why does the tag belts just make you a number one contender for singles belts? Just get rid of them. You know what I mean?
But that's where the IWC steps in and ruins wrestling a lot of times. No casual fan gives two fucks about those belts. None of us do. Yeah. I don't know a single guy or girl that watches on a regular basis that's like, hey, did you know that so-and-so won the women's tag team champs? No one cares except the IWC hardcore perverts, the Cheeto sexuals, as Bottles calls them, that all they want to see is little girls run around these tight-ass shorts and get up on the apron and do the splits. That's who cares about those belts. And you being Bottles don't give a shit.
And what's wrong with that? Really?
Dude, do what you want to do in your own parents' basement. Just don't make a fake outrage about it.
I'm naked from the waist down right now.
I bet you are.
The women's tag team titles serve a purpose, because they've got all these... You said that they decimated the women's division. They've got all these girls at NXT. I know you watch NXT, Phil.
No. The women's tag division specifically, though. Yeah,
right, but you've got all these women in NXT that have to get called up. Mm-hmm. They're just spinning their wheels down there. Yeah, you can't stay at NXT forever. I'm looking at you, Nikita Lyons. You can't stay in NXT forever. Cora Jade. You can't stay in NXT forever. You got to move up. And you've got all these women down there that can go. And they're going to need some kind of title to elevate them, and just a bargain basement title like the women's tag team titles to elevate them and give them some type of prestige on the main roster. And those women's tag titles go down to NXT too, and they're defended down there, so it's not that much of a stretch. So that's why I think those women's tag team titles have a little bit of value, not a lot of luster, but a little bit of value. What'd you say? Kazoo night.
Bullshit.
Kazoo night.
You don't get it, though. Braun Strowman was about to go on a generational run.
Emotional damage.
Oh, man. So if you guys could pick... Now, just to be a little more optimistic, and again, man, people are like, you're fucking E-drones, you're Fed suckers. Listen to this we've just been critical of WWE this whole ass time, right? But if you could be a little optimistic... I guess, or be a little more positive and say, well, I would have kept this one person from the list of releases. Who would you both pick and why?
I plead the fifth.
The fifth.
I
the
honest to God
fifth.
can't look at anybody on this list and be like, how could they let that person go? I don't care. None of those
Fair.
people made me watch Raw or SmackDown. I did not give a shit then. I don't care now. People get laid off every day. It's part of the performance package.
Yep.
Either perform or move on. And it's nothing. I don't have any ill will towards them. I wish them the best of luck on their future endeavors. I'm sure Tony Khan right now is writing checks.
Dude,
his
it's
daddy
a wet.
can't wait
He's
to cash.
I got my notepad out and I have my chart and I brought it to Mark Maron and I showed him what I booked over here and then I flipped it upside down and was like, this way will be better. Trust me. It's great.
I mean, how many of those people do you think he signs? And I'm being serious. I'm willing to bet he signs 3 of them. I'm willing to bet.
Oh, 3's the perfect number, bro. Yeah, I was about to say 3 myself. It'll be at least 3, you know?
Gallus, the guys in Gallus have no value whatsoever. Oro Mensah, who? Riley Osborne, who? Shayna Baszler, maybe.
Yeah, she makes sense from the third perspective, I think, because they need some more tough women in that division.
Right. Biggest star, I would say, out of everyone who was gone is Shayna Baszler out of that last group. Dakota Kai would be number 2. I'd say Dakota Kai. And then I wouldn't hire Gigi Dolan because that's our Darby Allin's ex-wife. Jakara Jackson, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe her would be another one.
Yeah, my biggest one is Jakara. They fucked up her and Lash as a tag team.
I like the way they broke up
to be a
metaphor.
thing on the main roster. And here's the thing, though. I know you're like, Oro Mensah gives shit, but if you're watching NXT every week, bro, some of these, Oro Mensah, you're like, well, what? Why would you get rid of Metaphor entirely? Like they just completely abandoned. That shit was super over, man. So to me, it's like, how did there had to be something more than meets the eye, Brian.
There you go.
Right? As Dave Meltzer would say, Transformers, robots in disguise.
See, everybody always thinks it has to do with the talent or the team.
Right.
Some people are just a pain in the ass to deal with, and every idea is a bad idea. And you reach the point where you're like, you know what? You're just not worth the headaches that we're going through right now to get you on television. We're presenting you in a prominent spot. You're showing no gratitude, and all you do is come back and bitch. And I just don't want to deal with you anymore. So the best of luck to you.
Cora Jade, before I got on the air with you guys, I was scanning her Elena Black Twitter account for the picture that she posted of Thea Hale kissing some guy on the cheek, just rather demurely, either in a bar or a restaurant. And Cora Jade said, "You kiss that man on the lips when he's still got my pussy on his breath."
Yeah.
She's post shit like that on her Twitter account, and they frown on that. They do not want to see that sort of content on anybody's Twitter account.
Yeah, she's dated and broken up with, I think, like 3 or 4 guys. Not that I'm like, ooh, the gossip. I know my wife's into fucking the gossip. This was a thing I covered on my show that that she has been messy, as the kids say these days, about like her relationships and stuff. And like she's dated, every person she dated has gone and started dating someone else in the PC or who's on NXT. And so her going, I think, has more to do with that, because Cora, I mean, out of nowhere, she's just not called up. They stick Julia with Roxanne, and they just break up that Cora Roxanne team out of nowhere, and then Cora's just gone. And she was a player that I think people saw as a main roster player, like later down the line. So,
Phil, what did you think of her wrestling talent?
I'm not her biggest fan, I got to be honest. Like, I never really was, but it was her look more than anything. And her ability to drum up interest, which sometimes usurps the in-ring,
I'm sure that Triple H and Shawn Michaels and the powers that be have a list of people, whether they're on-air talent or backstage workers. They have a hit list of people that are pains in the asses backstage.
Right. Yeah.
And they say, when Nick Khan says, we gotta get some money together for Mariah May, Jeff Cobb, Britt Baker. What are we gonna do here? Who are we cutting? We're offering Mariah $500,000 a year to start.
It's that Terry Funk promo. That's what it is. When Terry Funk cut a promo on you, your mother's a whore. I told you she was no good, Sean.
Right, Terry. I'm writing it down right now, Terry. Hold still. I'm writing it down right now.
So
you, Terry.
There's I guess rumors. I don't know. I don't buy any of these. And again, I'll reiterate this, when people are shocked that like Braun Strowman's released and shit, it's like, I've had Husey on my show and we've been like, dude, The Miz might get released. Like, don't be shocked if like big names, I talked about this a long time ago and we were predicting names like Sonya Deville. Actually, that was a name that I had said a long time ago. Like, hey, if she were to ever go, and notice she bears no grudge against WWE. Why? Because they were paying her fucking good, man. They were paying her good and she was on that Vince deal and they kept her around for a long time and she knows, she knows what's up. So shout her out as well. But I'd called that one. The Miz is a name I've thrown out there. The Braun Strowman I threw out there. A Miz will survive because he will take less money and he'll do literally anything you need him to do. He'll do Byron Saxton's job if you need him to do it. You know what I mean? Whereas a Braun Strowman, exactly, his knees are shot and he's getting paid probably 7 figures.
But I mean, there's only one role for Braun Strowman. He's got to be the big guy. And I'm sorry, but, I wasn't watching when he was flipping over ambulances and trucks and shit. That was a Vince McMahon love relationship. And it didn't go any further after that. It's like, I'm big and I'm strong and I can't cut a promo. So what the hell do you do with that?
I was just going to ask you about this tweet you have up on the screen right now from Machiavelli.
So for those of you listening on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts, we have a tweet pulled up. If you're watching on YouTube, you guys will see this. We're recording it Tuesday, but it'll come out probably Thursday morning. Time Cop. It's like Time Cop. We're here, but we're like there at the same time. So reports suggest that another wave of WWE releases is to commence with rumored names of those being let go. I responded to this and I was like, nobody's shooting you, because he's like, don't shoot the messenger. And I was like, nobody's shooting you. I genuinely want an answer. What reports and how did they suggest these names? Because people are just throwing shit out there. But I don't know. Here's some names that I guess reports are alleging. This could be completely made up by Machiavelli. I don't know. Seems like a good dude. But Austin Theory.
See, this is one that bothers me because I like that guy, but it feels like he is in the Triple H doghouse and he cannot get the hell out of there. And I don't know what this guy did. He can cut a good promo. He can wrestle. He's got the look. He's got it all. There's nothing about this guy I don't like.
Maybe he's got an attitude backstage. I mean, he came up from NXT and some people might say it was too much too soon. He was a favorite of Vince. Vince had his fingers all over Austin Theory. No sexual.
Oh, did he? Did he now?
No.
Yes, he did.
No, did he?
Oil check.
Check.
Here's the thing. I don't know if I believe this list here. Andrade's on this motherfucker right here. And he's all over the AAA stuff. And listen.
Yep.
I got my finger on the pulse of that AAA stuff. I've been for a long time. Before anyone tweeted that little tweet under Sean Ross Sapp's thing, hey, what about the AAA deal? I already talked about it on my show. Like, I had known that they were looking at buying a Mexican promotion for a fucking while. I've been saying, you can go back on my show. I've been saying like it's going to be a hot lucha summer, and now look at like what we have going on and shit. So again, with Andrade, I'm going to put my foot down on that one and say, no, man, I don't think they're releasing any Latino talent until at least after this Worlds Collide show. You know what I mean? So
let's go down the list. Let's go down the whole list.
Let's go down.
Grayson
So
Waller.
Theory, I mean, to me, Theory and Waller are being primed up for Austin's about to get his babyface push. He had to fall from they had to humble him from the Vince stuff. Now they'll rebuild him up Triple H style. Waller's going to be his first opponent. I think Waller goes over and all that, and they really run with Waller as a heel.
I would be shocked at either one of them, honestly, being released because they were just on Raw. Both of them are obviously in a feud. It's obviously going somewhere. The next one on the list, though,
I agree.
Shinsuke Nakamura, I wouldn't be shocked at all.
I wouldn't be shocked either. That's what I mean. Like, this list isn't so outrageous, but I feel like we can debunk some of these. So just to what you were saying there, Don, with Theory and Waller as well, though, you brought it up, right? Vince McMahon era, and then NXT 2.0 is Waller as well. Like, he was an NXT 2.0 guy. Now, I feel like he's more of a Sean Triple H guy, but that whole 2.0 thing was Vince. Shinsuke, again, he's been getting a shitload of money. Tyler Bate, Johnny, what do you think about Tyler Bate being on this list?
He had a torn pec, I believe it was. He came back just recently, and he's a short man. I hate to say it. He's Johnny Gargano size, but he's a bulky guy. He's a muscular man, and I don't think they gave him a fair shake. I don't think they would cut him. I think the next name on the list.
Hold on now. Hold on.
Go ahead.
No one's going to
Tyler Bate
is. Gets cut. No one's going to. That's what I was going to say. No one's going to miss him if he gets cut.
You're right about that.
Literally, no one will give a fuck. No one.
What? New Catch Republic's my favorite tag team.
What are they doing? The Pete Dunne. Good Lord. Tyler Bate gets hurt, and Pete Dunne's got a job to everybody.
So,
what are they gonna do?
Josh Briggs, you brought up the next name, Josh Briggs. What do you guys think
NXT
about that
forever.
one?
NXT forever.
Yeah.
He's been in NXT for the longest time. And he was out of shape. He had to wrestle in a vest, wrestle in a shirt. And I think he's still wrestling in a shirt and vest. But
what are you body shaming him? You motherfucker.
Dude, it's a cosmetic industry. It's a cosmetic industry, pal.
I'm playing the role of the sicko today.
Yes, you got to play the part. He can't have orange fingers and wear boxer briefs and be overweight and wrestle.
Hey, you're the one who said you weren't wearing pants, buddy, not me. So
there you go. Yes. It's a little hot in here. That's why it's a little humid. That's why Josh Briggs is a good wrestler. I mean, he's a good talent in the ring. I always liked the guy, but what's going to take it to get him up to the next level? He's always in a tag team. I've hardly ever seen Josh Briggs wrestle in NXT in singles matches. He's always in a tag team. He's got this guy, what's the guy's Kokina Imanora, whatever the guy's name is from Pro Wrestling Noah or All Japan. He's got like a little butterball Japanese guy, a little overweight Japanese guy he was tag teaming with. And that guy said he's going back to Japan. So he bade his farewell to everybody last week on NXT. I don't know if he's going to be there tonight or not. I don't know. I don't really care. But Josh Briggs is a big old raw bone Texan. He portrays himself. He's probably from Kenscocken, Ohio, but he portrays himself as a big old raw bone Texan. So I can see Briggs. He's been there forever. He might get cut.
Are you a big NXT guy, Don?
I watch when there's something to watch. Like I said, I'm not going to live and die by NXT. If something catches my eye, I'll stick around. I do, record every week. I'll fast forward most of it. This guy, Josh Briggs, doesn't catch my eye. Andrade, I'd be shocked. Dragunov, I'd be shocked if they let him go. Dempsey, I don't think anybody gives a shit. I just don't. No one cares if Dempsey comes or goes.
Charlie Dempsey, his father would care. Charlie Dempsey is William Regal's son.
I get that, but again,
he ain't gonna go nowhere, dude.
Okay. I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying it wouldn't shock me. I haven't seen anything about him that makes me want to watch. I get that he's somebody's son. That's
another guy.
The Rock's daughter. The Rock's daughter's got a job because she's the Rock's daughter. She's got that loft issue. If you don't know what a loft issue is, I'll tell you, it's a lack of fucking talent. She's one of them.
Oh my God. I think Ilya would be cool in that fucking Paulie, Seth, Braun Breaker team. I think he'd be a good third man because he's like crazy. He can beat the shit out of the lower mid card, like the mid lower guys. Braun can take out the mid upper guys, and then Seth can be the world champ or whatever, and then obviously Braun gets mixed in with that. I think Dragunov would be a cool addition to that. Same with
Gunther and Dragunov. Would they run that back? He's not coming back till September, they say.
I think Zoe Stark is going to get added to that Seth faction. I don't know why I keep saying that, but it's just I have a feeling they released the other two. They kept her. What do they do with her? She's the white meat baby face who does decent flips, or she's the bad tough girl still that we just use to do jobs. It's either the latter or they stick her with this Seth Rollins group and try and like give her something, because clearly Shawn Michaels sees something in her. Mitchin, I don't think she's going anywhere. I don't think
she is either. I don't think she is either. She's on TV
Dempsey. Here's the thing: they just pulled the rug right out. Like Noam Dar came back and just took that fucking Heritage Cup trophy back. So if Dempsey went, it wouldn't shock me. But yeah, I don't think he is because he's William Regal's kid. I just don't think he's going fucking anywhere. Triple H and William Regal are like really close, man. I just don't think Dempsey would be going anywhere. But I actually
Do you know why they're boys? Because when Triple H got hired in WCW as Terra Rising, William Regal took him under his wing. Because
I'm a huge Regal fan, man. Yeah, I always thought Regal should have been that's a WWE champion that should have been, that never was,
Well, he was all pilled up.
He came along in the wrong era. Like Vince McMahon was like, I'm going to make you a Paul Bunyan type guy. What kind of shit is this, Vince? Don't worry, it'll work. I'm going to make you the bounty guy. Worst shit ever.
I think
I'm from England, right, mate?
I think in that list, I'll pick 3. Shinsuke Nakamura, he's going to turn 46 this year. Yeah. I think he's going to be out the door. Josh Briggs is going to be out the door. And I hate to say it, I think Zoe Stark will be out the door because she hasn't gotten over. She hasn't gotten over.
I'd agree with you, Bottle. She can wrestle, but she's not there. And she's been trying to do it on her social media posts too. Like I see her really trying. It's not catching on.
Yeah, Dakota Kai could wrestle, but
someone told me there was heat between her and like Liv or something for real a little bit. Like they did have some shit to say to each other, I guess, in private or something. I don't know. That could all just be rumor, you know. I'm not a fucking dirt sheet, but people tell me shit and I take it all with a pinch of salt. But
Phil, let me ask you this. If you worked at a place with a lot of people, did you like everybody there?
Fuck no.
Of course
I don't even like you guys. What do we? No, I'm just. I don't even like you, cynical assholes. What are you talking about?
We are cynical assholes. Yes, we are. You pegged us right, Phil. You pegged us right. I think that not everybody likes everybody who they work with, but they tolerate each other for the sake of making money. That's what it all boils down to. And you had some people in NXT that were immature, and they couldn't get out of that high school mentality. I'm not going to say who. I'm just going to leave it go at that.
I think you said who earlier. I think
Cora Jade.
I think we narrowed it down.